The 6 Steps to Perfect Balancing. A short video from Edgenexus, the home of simple, powerful, easy to use, and affordable load balancing. So, what is load balancing? Well, it's a bit like having a highly efficient queue management system in place when service counters or service personnel are limited in number. Do you remember how you have to queue at an airline check-in, or wait for an immigration desk to be free? It's much the same. The amount of data requests are too high for one node to handle. So we add additional nodes, counters in our illustration, and the EdgeADC then distributes the load efficiently to the node that is not busy. That is a simple explanation of load balancing. As far as we know, none of our competitors can say that their load balancer is so easy to use that almost anyone can use it. But this is really the case when it comes to the Edgnexus EdgeADC. It's so easy to use that people find they can configure and use it without any formal training. You can literally create a load-balanced setup in less than 2 minutes. How many other load balancing vendors can say that? In the next few minutes, we will show the 6 steps to perfect load balancing. And if you find it hard to believe, then download the EdgeADC at www.edgenexus.io and try it for yourself. We guarantee that you will not be disappointed. Step 1. Click the Add Service button in the Virtual Services section. This will create a blank entry line in the Virtual Services list, ready for data input. Now enter the IP address, which will become what is called the VIP, or Virtual IP. Then, enter the subnet mask. After this, enter the port that the VIP will be using. In this instance, it is port 443, a secure HTTP port. Then, from the service type dropdown, select Layer 4 TCP as the service type option. Finally, click the Update button to create the VIP. The VIP has now been created, and we need to add the real servers that are to be load balanced, also referred to as the real server pair. We now come to Step 2, where we will create the first of the real server pair. You will note that the entry line for real server 1 has already been created. It's blank and needs filling in with the appropriate data. First, enter the IP address of the first real server. You can use the Tab key to move to the next field, or use the mouse. As you can see from our example, the subnet for the real server is different from the VIP. This need not be the case, and VIP and real servers could reside on the same subnet happily. The port entry has also been pre-created for us, but we are free to change this if required to another port. This capability allows us to translate ports within the EdgeADC, if so required. We will leave the port entry as 443. The following field is wait, and is used to prioritize traffic. This also can be left as it is, and the EdgeADC will handle it automatically. Now, enter a descriptive name in the Notes field. Then, you can optionally enter an ID number if you wish. This is used when you have cookie ID-based load balancing in operation. We have entered the number 1 for the purposes of illustration. Finally, press the Update button to create the first real server. If all the fields have been entered correctly, the VIP and VS indicators for the virtual services, together with the status indicator for the real server, should momentarily turn green in color. Step 3 is where we will enter the details for the second real server. Click on the entry we just created for real server 1. Then, click the Copy Server button, used to copy the line to a new one, saving you time and effort. The server line is copied and ready for data input. Step 4 is just like Step 2. First, you will need to enter the IP address of the second real server. Next, as before, leave the port at 443. Skip the wait field. Then, change the notes value to say, Web Server 2. Now, change the ID value to 2. Finally, click the Update button to finalize the entry of the second real server, forming the pair. In Step 5, we are going to look at the Basic tab within the Real Servers section. The Basic tab consists of a number of settings. These determine things like the load balancing method, the type of server monitoring to be used, caching and acceleration strategies, and also parameters for SSL certificates. As you can see, we have selected the least connections method of load balancing. Using this method, the EdgeADC will determine which real server node has the least number of connections to it, and then direct the traffic to that node. There are other methods also available, such as round robin, and a variety of cookie-based methods, as well as source IP-based load balancing. Monitoring uses layer 7 and is very important to ensure resilience. We are using the 200 OK response monitoring in this instance, but you can select one of the others, or even write your own monitoring method using Perl. When it comes to SSL settings, there are two areas. The one for the virtual service, and the setting that tells the load balancer about the certificate used on the real server. These settings are used in conjunction with the HTTP Layer 7 service type and form the way in which SSL offload and SSL re-encryption are handled. In this instance, we are using Layer 4 TCP, which is also called SSL pass-through, and we do not need to alter these settings. The next step is our last of the 6 steps of perfect balancing. Step 6. Here we take a look at the Advanced tab within the Real Servers section. From the Connectivity menu, you can choose between Reverse Proxy, Direct Server Return, and Gateway modes. The reverse proxy engine within the EdgeADC is one of the fastest you will encounter. There are a number of other options for adjusting the behavior of the EdgeADC, but we will leave these untouched for this example. And that's it. You have created a small and perfect load-balanced environment of 2 web servers in less than 2 minutes. So there you have it. It's really that easy. So why not try it for yourself? Visit www.edgenexus.io and request an evaluation. It couldn't be simpler. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this short video. This has been an Edgenexus production, the home of simple, easy-to-use load balancing.